A very warm welcome. You're watching Market Cafe on ET Now. This is Priyanka Pul, along with me, Shyansi Shah. Shyansi saying, what we saw, persistent FI selling, lackluster earnings, and of course, the high valuation pressure. That's what we saw the Indian markets going through last week, but the US market was altogether on a different mode and zone. We saw US markets hitting one of the best week of 2024 last week, especially after Trump's victory. Bitcoin is hitting $80,000 per, and then these are the key indicators coming in. But what are the cues that lies ahead for Indian markets? The key earnings as well as the corporate action, the buzzing stock, everything we set you up for the trading day for next 1 hour. But Shyansi, first, the US markets, they are all together on a different zone. We saw the best week for US markets coming in last week, 24.
Well, absolutely. That just about sums it up, because when you take a look at the US markets, you do see quite some strength coming in. When you take a look at Dow Jones, that's the one that that ended the week after topping 44,000 for the first time. S&P 500 as well, closing at record highs to cap election week rally, and that's the kind of rally that we've seen coming in. Really just sums up the move that we've seen the last week gone by on a very good footing. When you take a look at the Dow Jones, like I mentioned, it ended above near those 44,000 levels, but did also top those 44,000 levels previously before ending the day. And when you take a look at the uptick coming in for Dow Jones, you're looking at 0.6% uptick coming in for that one. Now, when you take a look at the S&P 500 as well, 0.4% uptick is what you have there as well. Record highs is what you're looking at. Even when you take a look at the S&P 500, but it was the Nasdaq that lacked just a tad bit. So an uptick of just about 0.1% is what you saw coming in for the Nasdaq. But intraday record highs is also something that you're looking at there as well, Priyanka, because when you take a look at Nasdaq as well, record highs were notched there as well. All three averages did finish the week at record closing levels. That's the kind of roundup that you saw coming in for the week as well. It was, of course, a strong week, like I mentioned, across the board for equities, due in large part due to the huge rally that we saw following Trump's victory. Now, President-elect Donald Trump also secured quite the victory, and you've seen that move being reflected on equities. So when you take a look at the S&P 500, that finished the week up just 4.6% for the week. Dow was high about 4.6% as well, and both indexes did notch their best week coming in since November 2023. So those are the kind of moves that you saw coming in for these two indices. These were, of course, the ones that performed well, but you do have the Nasdaq that also outed even these moves, which are very strong moves, totaling a 5.7% advance coming in. While when you take a look at the small cap benchmark Russell 2000, that was not far behind at all. In fact, that was surging 8.6% thereabout, and those are the kind of moves on a weekly basis that you saw coming in for all of those indices. That largely looks like the kind of roundup that you have at hand when it comes to US then, Priyanka.
All right, but then in terms of oil, if you talk about, not very good signs, because if oil is trading with a pressure, that indicates a global slowdown also. And there were a couple of factors which is coming in from China market right now, which was weighing on oil prices. Oil prices fell more than 2% on Friday as the traders grew less fearful of prolonged supply disruption from a hurricane in the US, Gulf of Mexico. But there was another cue that came from China, that the latest economic stimulus packages that has failed to impress some of the oil traders. US West Texas Intermediate future that led down the decline, down by 2.74% or nearly $1.98 per barrel. This one closed at $70.38 per barrel. Now, of course, the Brent futures, they also fell 2.33% or nearly $1.76 per barrel, and this one settled at $73.87 per barrel. At the same time, gold, which has been always considered a safe haven, now that one has logged the biggest weekly fall in over 5 months, and prices majorly dropped on Friday and logging its steepest weekly decline. This one's pressurized majorly by the stronger dollar, and of course, as the markets are absorbing the implications of Donald Trump's victory and the potential impact on US interest rate expectation. So spot gold, that one fell by 0.8% to settle at $2684 per barrel, per ounce. These are the two key indicators coming in from oil as well as gold.
Well, absolutely. Lots to keep an eye on when it comes to the US markets as well as oil and gold. But let's also take a look at cryptocurrencies, because they extended their rally coming in on Sunday with Bitcoin also touching $80,000 for the first time ever. In fact, the price of the flagship cryptocurrency was last higher by 4.5%, $79 is the kind of level that you're looking at. Now, smaller coins, of course, saw a bigger move coming in as investors did continue to digest the implications of a second term for President-elect Donald Trump, and that is something that you're looking at. Even when you look at Ether as well, you're looking at a rise of just about 3% coming in after passing those $3,000 levels on Saturday as well. So it was a good weekend coming in for the cryptocurrencies. And you can see that reflected for Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin, of course, was deemed a safe asset regardless of the outcome of the election. And it is not considered a security even by the Securities and Exchange Commission. But you did see quite the move coming in when you take a look at Bitcoin, Ether, and other cryptocurrencies as well, that also stand to gain much more from the crypto-friendly regulatory environment that Trump has promised and also appears to be a priority for many in his inner circle. And that is the reason why you're possibly seeing that kind of move coming in for cryptocurrencies. Now, the big question, of course, remains whether $100,000 is in sight for Bitcoin soon. But Priyanka, it does look like that question is definitely going to be answered with President-elect Donald Trump also coming to power after January 20.
All right, $100,000. That is going to be a mark, but at least it is trading at an all-time high level of $80,000 per.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.